X-ray Tango Charlie, QSL.
November 5, X-ray Tango Charlie, K2KJD. Yes, indeed. You're coming into Highlands, North Carolina, out the west. In the Southern Appalachians, they're coming in about 5 at 8. Here was Chip, Charlie Hotel India, Panama. How's the signal sound to you today?
Chip, you're coming in about a 57, 58 here into Brownsville, Texas, on the border of Mexico. I didn't quite copy the call sign. Can I get the call sign again, QRS, please?
Sure, the call sign is kilowatt 2, kilowatt Juliet Delta. K2KJD, kilowatt Juliet Delta. Copy?
Yeah, kilowatt 2, kilowatt Juliet Delta. Yeah, I've got you in your QRS. That says you're in Louisiana, though. Over.
I'm up in Highlands, portable 4 for a couple of months. This is a beautiful place up here, and it's kind of hot in Louisiana this summertime. I came up to North Carolina. QSL?
Yeah, QSL. I'm in Brownsville, Texas, there on the border of Mexico. Same type of situation. It's pretty hot and humid and muggy this time of year, so I can appreciate the North Carolina there. What did you say the QTH there is in North Carolina, over?
N5XTC, K2KJD. We're in a place called the Highlands, which is just about where South Carolina, Georgia, and North Carolina come together. It's probably only 15 miles to Georgia from here. Maybe, I don't know, 30 or 40 to South Carolina. Up in the mountains about 4,500 feet, and I'm real curious about the signal. You are my first contact with this new G5RV dipole that I put up, multi-band dipole, and I mean, I just got it up 30 minutes ago, tuned up the rig, and I'm real curious to how the signal sounds to you guys.
You're a 5.9, fluctuating between a 5.9 and a 5.8. Very strong signal. I'm also on a G5RV up at about 35 feet. It's an 80-meter G5RV. Very strong signal there. How high do you have the apex there, over?
N5XTC, K2KJD. Well, you know, that's a great question. The coast is about 4,200 feet on top of this mountain. A little bit on the downside of the peak. And the XYL did not want the antenna to go across our view. I'm looking across at the mountains and have a beautiful view. So I had to run parallel to the side of the house through the trees up about...
Somebody's tuning up on the band.
Up about 40 feet off the ground, and as I just said, it's about 4,200 feet, so I'm kind of curious, and thank you very much for the report, because I was real curious whether I got this thing working the right tune properly. The SWR looks terrific. I've got a antenna tuner here, and it looks pretty close to 1.1 to me, so thank you very much for the report. What are you doing down in that part of the world? Go ahead.
I teach college down here for the University of Texas down here on the border. I've been down here about 16 years, so you'd think I'd be used to the humidity, but I came out of Tucson, Arizona, where it was dry. I spent about 5 years there. It's pretty hard to go from a dry climate to the soggy humidity, you know. I never did get used to it there. I kind of know the area. You're there in North Carolina there. You're right there in the National Forest there. Yeah, you're right on the border there, the couple, North Carolina and Georgia and all that there. You're kind of south of the Great Smoky Mountain National Park there a little ways, right?
Yeah, that's right. I went backpacking W5XTC, K2KJD. Went backpacking a couple of weeks ago, like in the middle of August, and it was about an hour and a half over there to that eastern side of the Smoky Mountain National Park, just kind of north of Cherokee. I tell you, I'm so in love with this place. I lived in New Orleans for 30 years and have family there and so forth, so we still have a bed to pillow to call home down there. But came up here last August, loved the place, and my wife and I looked at each other and tried to find a cabin to fit our luggage. We were fortunate to do that. and now it's really a good place even when the weather cools off. N5XTC, K2KJD.
Roger there. Yeah, the first letter of the call sign is November or Norway 5. Norway 5, not Whiskey 5. You probably misheard me. So it's Norway 5, X-Ray Tango Charlie. Yeah, I know that area. You're basically, I guess the city there is Walhalla there, and maybe Clayton back to the east. Yeah, I had a girlfriend up in that area, and ways back when I used to go to Myrtle Beach, I stopped through there. So I know the area. Beautiful spot. I'd much rather be there than in this humidity right now. Over.
Well, believe me, you are preaching to the choir because, unfortunately, we're going to end up having to go back the first week or two in November. We'll probably spend Thanksgiving up here and maybe come up for Christmas as well. Skip January and February and likely most of March. But then I'd like to come back again in April. So yeah, we'll both have experienced the same thing, but I'm probably a lot older than you. And I just got fed up with that July, August, September in New Orleans. And then when I came up here, not only was the weather fantastic, but I mean, I'm sitting up here in this loft in this cabin, looking over Highlands, which is 200 or 300 feet down in a little valley. I mean, what people say about putting this N5XTC, K2KJD.
Yeah, Roger. I just spent the whole summer up in Yellowstone. I'm a professor down here, so I get the summers off. So June, July, and half of August I'm gone. So I got to deal with August and September and part of October. Yeah, you know, about the end of September, beginning October, before the weather gets good. If I had to be here all summer, I just don't know if I could take it. Yeah, I'd much rather have the dry heat there. What kind of rig are you running there, and what kind of power there? Over.
Okay, N5XTC, K2KJD. Before I get to the rig, you know, I've been around a lot of the national parks and a lot of places around the country, but I've always wanted to go to Yellowstone. People have told me that is the absolute singular best place to learn to see wildlife.
Amen.
Yellowstone, and I was in Yosemite, and I was really somewhat disappointed.
Yep, been there.
I've been to Rocky Mountain National Park, and that wasn't too bad.
Been there.
But people say that Yellowstone is really fantastic. So tell me what part of Yellowstone you go to, and do you camp? Do you have a house up there, or what do you stay? As far as my rig goes, I've got a TS580, and probably running 100 watts. And there's not much to it. I think now I've got this antenna up, and if it works properly, I think I may try and find myself some used linear to get a little better punch to my signal.
Kilo 2, Kilo Juliet Delta, November 5, X-Ray Tango Charlie. I go up in the West Yellowstone side, which borders on Montana there, and I have a small trailer I tow with me now. Instead of tenting up there in Grizz country where it's quite dangerous, I have a small hardshell pop-up trailer I stay in all summer. So we're on the west side, and we do Upper Geyser Basin and that type of thing, and then also the east side, which is in the Cody, Wyoming area. What I like about the west side is it's a little higher over there, and it's a little cooler in the summer, so it's nice getting away from this kind of heat. I've been to Yosemite, Rocky Mountain National Park, all those places you mentioned, and I think that Yellowstone is far better for wildlife than is Yosemite. And it seems a lot less crowded too because it's more spread out. I enjoy Yellowstone much more than I do Yosemite. I've probably been to Yosemite 3 or 4 times. It's, you know, it's beautiful in its own way, but I don't think anything tops Yellowstone. Over. We may have lost him. Oh, there he is.
N5XTC, K2KJD. Well, that's what I've heard about Yellowstone. I was supposed to have one of my father-daughter summer meetings, and we were going to go to Yellowstone, and it fell through, but I was really disappointed about that. it's a little remote. I mean, to get to Yosemite is really simple. In fact, I've got a brother who lives a couple of hours from there. But to get to Yellowstone, that's your destination because I don't think there's much else around there. If you were going to go to the western part of Yellowstone, where would you fly to? Right?
Well, the smaller airports, if you can go to a smaller airport, there's one in West Yellowstone, Montana, which is 3 miles outside of the west entrance to Yellowstone National Park. You know, the bigger cities would be like Billings, Montana, maybe Bozeman. Of course, you'd have to rent a car from Bozeman. I think it's about 100 miles down there to Yellowstone. So you got a couple options there, but I would definitely recommend the west entrance over some of the others. The northwest entrance there is kind of hot. It's low elevation, so it's like going back into the desert, whereas the west entrance, you know, you're up at like 7,000 feet, so it's a lot cooler over.
Well, those are some great tips. I think flying into Bozeman and renting a car might be the way to go. The only problem with it is, I also understand, as in most of the national parks, it's pretty hard to get a reservation in some of these hotels and meetings and so forth that they have in the park. And driving out there from here would be a real pain in the butt for me. Flying out there with all your gear to go camping would also be an awful lot of hassle. You know, it's funny, other than the wildlife issue, I guess I'm kind of new in the Highlands in western North Carolina for the time being, but I'm so content here. And you can do, as far as outside things go, you can do anything you want, except bike. I'm way too old to take any, you know, so I don't do any of the mountain biking or road biking around here. I save that for my return trips to New Orleans. N5XTC, K2KJD.
Yeah, Roger, if you go a year out, like right now, I've got 3 separate weeks booked in Yellowstone. There's cabins there right at Old Faithful that are right outside that Old Faithful, and I got 3 separate weeks in there already reserved. But if you, last minute it's pretty tough. But the town of West Yellowstone is right on the west entrance, so you could actually stay in a hotel in West Yellowstone, the town, and drive right into the park there. So you wouldn't necessarily have to stay in the park that way, over.
Well, that sounds like a good tip. First tip is the western side of the park, and then, as you say, most trips like that, you really do have to reserve ahead of time. Although I remember one time I reserved 6 months in advance in Yosemite, and the trip got canceled because the snow had melted in June. So I guess that's another thing. If you rent a cabin, you don't have to worry about your reservation getting canceled, but your access to the park might be a little limited, guys.
Yeah, Roger, I could kind of agree with you. If for you it'd be quite a long flight, you know, expensive to rent a car. There's plenty around where you're at to do. We used to go up to Pigeon Forge all the time, and a couple other places there in the Smoky Mountain, just outside of the Smoky Mountain National Park. I had a buddy from Knoxville, and I'd always go to Knoxville, and we'd do all that stuff. So, you know, you got a lot of stuff there, but, you know, every once in a while you want to get away and do something different, over.
Well, I think it probably takes a couple of years for me to get the Highlands, the Smoky.
I got to upload this. It's going to be too long for YouTube. We're clear.